Hey, what's up? My name is Roush, and today I'm going to be showing you how to turn any sound into a synth. Alright, so the other day I was on TikTok and I found this video. As you can hear, this is really beautiful and there's a lot of tonality in it. So what I want to show you is how to turn this sound into a synth, as well as how to turn any other sound into a synth as well. So let's get into it. Alright, so the first sound that I have in front of me is the actual video itself, and it sounds like this. Alright, so as you can hear, it is really beautiful. And I think there were a lot of really cool tonal parts in there. So the first thing that I did in this process is I picked out a couple notes that I thought might sound good. And the notes that I picked out were these. The only thing that I did on this channel is I picked out the notes and then I just added a little bit of reverb. So as you can hear, it puts it in a bit of a space and gives it a bit more atmosphere and a bit more of a tail. The next thing that I did is I froze this layer, flattened it, and then added some compression and some EQ. And now these sounds sound like this. Alright, so now that we have our one-shots EQ'd and compressed, the next step is we need to find out what note they are. So I'll show you how to do that with an EQ8. So if we open up EQ8 and then play the one-shot, we can see where the tonality lies. So I'll play it right now. So what we can see is that there's this frequency down here, and the fundamental of anything is generally the lowest common note. So that would be like this. So we can see that right about here, there's a fundamental. And what we can see is that it's G3. So then this note is G. And then you would repeat this process for every other one shot. All right, so now that we have our one shots EQ'd, compressed, and ready to go, what we can do is we can drag them into a new group, layer them up, add some effects, and make them longer. So that's exactly what I've done right here. So if we give this group a listen, it sounds like this. All right, so to kind of quickly break this down, essentially what this group is it's just the one shot repeated 4 times and then stretched out and reversed. So this is the original one shot, and I'll take off all the effects. So this one shot just plays 4 times, and then what I did is I duplicated that, reversed it, and then stretched it out by 2 so that it would create this cool little riser. And then this layer essentially is just a reverse of the layer below it. And the layer below that is just this right here, reversed and then crossfaded so that there wouldn't be any clicks. And together, with all the effects, it sounds pretty cool. So now that we have that version down, what we can do is we can actually now resample this into another group so that now we can actually have the one shot that is playable and long enough to create some instruments with it. Alright, so the next step in this process, now that we have that group that we've resampled, is to tune the note to C. So I know that this sample right here is tuned to G, and to kind of show you that real quick, if I were just to play this, we can see that there's a fundamental right here, and if we bring this up, we can see that it is at G3. So what I did is I dragged this channel down to a new channel, and I just pitched it down by 7 and took off the texture warp, which is why it's longer than the original sample. And what I did is I made sure this was tuned to C. So I put a tuner on here, and I also referenced it with operator playing regular C3 as well. And it sounds like this. And with the operator as a reference, it sounds like this. Alright, so finally we get to the point where we can actually put this into a sampler and play it as an instrument. So essentially what you're going to do is once you have your sample pitch to C is you're just going to drag it into a sampler or a simpler or whatever sampler you choose. And you can just play it. So if I were to play this as C3, now it would sound like this. So just to give you an example of what it sounds like, this is a quick little MIDI thing that I made to kind of show it off. All right, so now you might be thinking, well, that had tonality in it, so of course you're going to be able to turn that into a synth of some sort. And this is where I would want to say that you can actually do this process with anything. So I'm going to show you how to do it with white noise. So what we have here is we have basic white noise that just sounds like this. So what I did, the first step is I just duplicated that, froze it, and then added some EQ to have it be defaulted at C3, which I believe is 261 hertz. Then I added a resonator at C3 and auto-tuned it to sound like this. So just to show you that I'm not messing with it and it's actually white noise, I'll take off all the processing and it sounds like this. So the next step, much like the group before this, is I just put this in and made it longer. I added some reverses, I stretched it out, and I put on some EQ, delay, and extra processing just to make it sound a bit more smooth. And then it sounds like this. So much like the process before, what I did is I resampled that entire thing into a new channel and it sounds like this. So since we already have this tuned to C, I can just drag and drop this into a sampler wherever I please and it's going to be tuned to the right note. Here's a quick little demo. Alright, so that's going to be the video. I hope that you learned something and I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Peace!